and almost like kind of design, paper branding and for the space. We'll start it off with that.
Molly, this is being recorded, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So do you want to walk into the game first? Yes. Okay, so for branding, we came up with three little mock-up mini brand packages. So we have three different names. We have Bayview at Perry, we have Coterie at Perry, and Coterie is a French word that means like friendliness and belonging. So we thought it was very fitting for the community. And then we have Laguna at Perry because of our lake. So they all just have different kind of assets and color palettes. So yeah, those are our three branding ideas.
Okay, so we're going to walk y'all through the pamphlet and kind of go through the entire model. And if you have any question at any time, just feel free to jump in. So starting off, Will's going to give us a little overview of the geographical details.
Hi. So what we're looking at is a 41-acre property right off the I-75 I-75
Exit.
interstate off the 135 exit.
Right,
Yes.
great. There you go.
We're located next to a middle school, and we have numerous opportunities for expansion over here. We also have areas for a lot of residential living and apartment style, and we have some commercial along the strip so far.
Next, we're going to go over the amenities. So, what makes our community different and special, and what we really used our research for was designing said amenities. But we have two main categories of the amenities. We have the included amenities, which are included in price and everyone can do, and it just makes the home like the community a community. We wanted it to have a small town feel, so you can't get bored, you feel needed, you feel loved, and it's tight knit, small town vibes. And we also have additional amenities, which are amenities that might have extra cost. But the additional amenities include lakeside activities, pickleball courts, movie theaters, and golf cart rentals. And then additional amenities would be a salon or the clothing store, which would be located on Main Street right here. Another idea we also wanted to include was residency memberships. So some people they don't want to uproot their lives. They want to stay in their own homes, especially in Perry. They might want to stay in Perry, but they also would want to be a part of this community. So we would have memberships that people could have to come in and use the amenities, see their friends, come in, but they wouldn't necessarily be living on the campus. So next,
So can I just for clarification,
yes.
these buildings here, what is this here?
Yes, so this is our courtyard apartments, and this is our lakeside apartment.
Okay, those are apartments, and then these are the.
Yeah. So we have cottages right here and bigger homes.
Okay, I got you. All right.
So an activity catalog would be things that people could do throughout the week. That would be taking a trip around our scenic park or pickleball courts and tennis games, peaceful lake, fishing spots. Everything that we would include that would be outdoor activities would be listed here. And then on the next page, you can see what is kind of a mock-up for something that would be posted every day of weekly activities. So say Monday, there's a trip to the Georgia Aquarium, and they would have buses that would take everyone there. Or Wednesday, there was a Publix trip where people could go and get their groceries. We also included a supermarket on our camp on the community, but it wouldn't necessarily have everything. So if they wanted to take a trip out and go through Perry, they could take the buses and do so. But basically, this is like weekly activities and things that would be available to do, maybe a pickleball tournament, things like that. And on the next page, you can see the weekend activities. And so there'd be a little bit more. So one thing from our research and specifically talking to faith leaders in Perry is that there are people of all different faiths, and we wanted to make sure they have access to go to whatever religious gatherings they want to. So we would make sure that we have a bus service taking people to church or whatever they want to go to out in Perry. And that would be set, weekend activities if that's part of that religion. And then next we have safety and transportation, which is a very big part of our community. We want to make sure that everyone's safe, everyone's comfortable, and everyone's having a good time. So the first thing that we want to go over is driving service. So we would have a bus service that would be able to take people out to Perry because we are a beautiful place, but it would also be able to they'd also be able to get everything they need within the community. And then I already went over the transportation to religious events, and we would also have gates with guards, make sure everyone has memberships. So if someone's coming over to visit their family, they would have said membership. to come in and do so, and security would check all of that. Also, a golf cart and car service. So back here behind the courtyard apartments will be a big parking lot where said golf carts and cars would be, and people could rent them out and drive them as long as they have the license that they need to do so. We'd also have security cameras just to prevent anything else that could be dangerous. And then another idea we had would be safety necklaces that people could rent out and have in case they need help and could call to for the medical center. Now Will's going to go over some zoning and regulation on the next page.
So we did a lot of research into what zoning requirements would be like in Cary. So we actually zoned these houses for R3, which is residential 3, the smallest one. We zoned these for R1, which would be the residential largest ones. We zoned these two for RM, which is residential multiple family. So these would be RM1 and RM2, since this one would be a lot bigger per room than this one. We looked into height requirements, lot sizes, setback sizes, and we really tried to make sure everything is feasible. This whole model is scaled to a 1 by 558 scale. So that means about 1 inch on the scale would be about 60 feet in real life.
How many, I'm trying to save a lot of my questions till the end because
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll answer, but how many residences are you looking at here? How many people could live in this? Like, how many homes are here? How many apartments? Did you quantify that? 400. And this area is how many homes? Okay. Right, so 50 here, and then how many units here? Okay.
Is
So
this the theater?
that is the welcome center.
Welcome center.
This is the movie theater and performing arts center right here.
There's what now?
This is right here.
Performing movie theater and performing arts center
And
there.
then this one's the
And there's the welcome center.
So, one thing that makes our community different and gives it that small town feel is Main Street, which is located right here. We would have stores, restaurants, and things to keep people happy, to keep them feeling like they're living in a community because they are. And one thing about Main Street is that it's convenient. They can pick up what they need, they can shop, and it would be a really great space for the community to come together. Now, one other thing that makes our city unique is that there's different dining opportunities. So our first would be Crossings Cafe, located here next to the courtside apartments and the lakeside living. So this would be a cozy cafe where they could get breakfast and lunch. There'd be coffee, food, lunch, everything you could need. The next dining opportunity would be the Brass Lantern, which would be semi-formal. Or this would be our tavern access and food. So we would have TVs playing sports games. It'd be a great spot for the community to come together and get whatever food they would love. And then Crave on Main Street is our last restaurant on Main Street. And it's basically desserts. We would have desserts that encompass everyone's needs, gluten-free, lactose intolerant, but we would have ice cream, cakes, brownies, all the sweet treats that they can eat. And we would make sure that every person in the restaurant would be aware and have a list of dietary restrictions just to make sure everyone in our community is being taken care of. And then our last opportunity for dining is the Landing, and this would be located in the Lakeside Living Apartments. This would be our upscale dining. And one thing that we took into account when designing this community was looking into different kinds of communities. And one thing that inspired us was cruise ships, where the main dining room will typically have a daily rotating menu. But in ours, it would be weekly because we wouldn't want it to rotate daily. But weekly, we could encompass, and it would have all different types of cuisines per week.
All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the apartment styles. So like we mentioned here, this is our lakeside living apartment. This is the more luxurious apartment of the space. In this apartment, we have a primary bedroom, a spacious primary bedroom, and a primary bathroom, a large living space and kitchen fully equipped for anybody who wants to live there. And then we also have a nice restaurant, like Emily mentioned.
And then this is also where some events might be held, like bingo night or mahjong night, or a place that we can have a community game night, or maybe karaoke night, something like that to bring the community together.
So just, if I may, just for clarification,
Yes, ma'am.
what we're talking about now is independent living. These are individuals who don't need assistance at this time, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Step one.
Step one. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
So next, we're gonna talk about courtyard apartments here. So in the middle, we have this little green space right here. So we can incorporate, maybe a place you can bring your pets or go outside and enjoy the outdoors. In these apartments, you have a cozy primary bedroom, primary bathroom, a full kitchen, full dining area, and living room area. So these ones are a little bigger and can maybe house maybe grandchildren if they want to come for the weekend. And then some of these if you have a house on, say, the bottom floor, it can open into the courtyard so that you can, have drinks on the patio or something with your friends. And next, we'll go into our cottages. So the gray houses on here are our cottages.
I really like how you're into food and drink. That's really good. They read us right, didn't they? Okay.
So this is courtyard apartments here?
Yes, sir.
Courtyard. Mhm.
So the gray houses are our cottages. These are for people who want a little more individuality and a little more space to be by themselves, a little more independent living. And it's more of a neighborhood feel, but it's still pretty tight knit together, so you can get around by golf cart pretty easily. So in these cottages, we have a primary bedroom, primary bathroom, a half bath, a full kitchen, living area, and dining area. So it's still a house, but it's still kind of smaller in case you want to, not be in a huge living space. We have no stairs in any of our cottages, for retired residents. And then our homes are the white homes over here. This is a little bigger, so in case you want to have family over, or if you're staying with more people, you can live with your friends and invite family over. So these have 2 bedrooms, one primary, one guest bedroom, one primary bath, one guest bath, and then one half bath. And then a living room, a dining area, and a full equipped kitchen. And all of these will also have patios, so you can, sit outside earlier, maybe enjoy the bonfire, and have some drinks.
Are you going to talk a little more about the golf carts? Like how?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll wait for my questions, Ari.
So another thing we wanted to show you was our floor plans. They kind of give you a little example of what we're thinking for the homes. The top left corner is the welcome center, and the top right corner is restaurant plans for these buildings right here. And then we have our 3 living styles represented below.
Which one you gonna live in?
I don't know, I'm looking at it.
And then on
Will
the next,
all the traffic for the single family homes, or you got coming in through the town? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, all the traffic is coming through this auxiliary street right here and coming into these side streets.
Or we can always, add another road to go out in the back and kind of go around Main Street. But that's also why we wanted to use golf carts to kind of make it a more small knit community and get around easier, because not all people want to drive.
Mhm.
So we thought that golf carts would be a good idea. Kind of getting around easier, not having to walk everywhere. Lots of parking for golf carts and cars. But we thought that golf carts, and maybe even like in the welcome center, there could be golf cart rental for people staying or people living there, and like golf cart chargers and everything you might need.
And all that's park and walking and dog and over in that area.
Yes, sir. There's also a amphitheater right here for maybe outdoor shows, bands, karaoke night.
So the amenities that you're talking about, or not amenities, but like the restaurants and all that, of course, people would pay as they needed to for that service, correct? It's not, have you gotten to that part of the,
yes. So
okay, I don't want to take
No,
we
no
can just wait
confusion.
until you get to that part. Okay.
But you know how college campuses, you might have a meal plan? That's what we were sort of envisioning for our community. We were thinking that people, if they wanted to, they could add an extra fee to their entire cost for living at the community, and that would pay for their food and drink and just make sure that they were taken care of. But that is up to you. You could change that too. And then we also had the idea that if someone purchased that membership to come in, even if they weren't living in the community space, they could also get free food and drink if their fee is included in their membership. And then if you turn to the back, we have one more page. I must have had a misprint, but this page is about staying connected, keeping it a community. And our first thing was tour coordinations. Before someone moves into this community, we want to make sure that they know what they're getting and what they want out of the community. They would get to come, they would possibly get to meet some residences, hear about how they feel about the community. They would get to see all of the amenities, and these tours would assist anyone to navigate the area and learn more. We would also have a weekly newsletter to send out to residents. So if there's changes, if there's new rules, if there's anything that they want to put in this newsletter, it would go out per week. And then we'd also have online room tours, since we know that it can be a big trouble to come and make the trip, especially if we want to bring people from out of Georgia into our community. So they would have online room tours where someone could Zoom them or FaceTime or whatever works and walk them through said room.
Is there like a welcome center or somewhere or an area where the management staff would be located?
Yes, so we have the welcome center here, and then the floor plan is right here for the welcome center. We would have a
Oh, I see
music
right here.
room. Yes,
And that's this building?
this one.
That one right there.
Sorry. And then we would just have spaces where people looking to come into the community could go meet and talk to people in charge of the community. And there's also a space here included for any town hall meetings that we might want to have in the community.
What are your security measures here?
Well, we looked into security cameras. We wanted to include safety necklaces for anyone who wanted them in case if they're an elder person on our campus, they could have safety necklace to hit a button and send security over. And then we would also make sure that we had someone checking at the gates, making sure everyone who's in the community is supposed to be there and has a membership.
So it is gated,
Yes.
and this is the
Definitely.
only entrance.
Yes.
Can we talk about golf carts now? So did you look at golf cart trails or golf cart? Like how would they, I know you said there's going to be golf carts available, but what if someone wanted their own golf cart? Could they go into town? Maybe, did you think about different things like that or?
So there would be a highway right here. So this street is a very high collector street. That is, I mean, it's the I-35 exit, 135 exit. So we would have a lot of cars passing right here. So we probably wouldn't want to put golf carts out here just because of the lack of speed.
But in the community, we can add, golf cart paths that can be maybe in the trees or in the forest or in the walking area. And we can add separate roads. So probably Main Street would be maybe only golf cart or only walking, and then we can add other golf cart little paths around to get around, and then we can have like main roads for just cars, to keep safety reasons.
The idea is to have everything self-sufficient as if it's an ecosystem. So if we needed anything to come out, we would have buses that residents could take together for like a weekly Walmart trip, or a weekly Costco trip.
They put an amphitheater, the restaurant. So it's a work, live, and play neighborhood. With bus transportation going, like you said, to town but I mean, with the new road cutting through the Perry Parkway back to Sam Nunn Boulevard, it's going to be a 4-lane divided with sidewalks. I mean, there could be a path to that, which would carry you right back to Sam Nunn Boulevard.
Right. Can you talk a little bit more about the at-home services? Like if I'm I move into this community and I meet all the membership requirements, and then I need additional care. What happens then?
Assisted living would most likely be in the courtyard apartments on a specific floor. And we would also make sure that we had housekeeping coming into the apartments and available. For the homes, not necessarily, but if housekeeping was needed, that could be an additional amenity that might have an extra cost.
Now, what about like physical therapy or anything like that? What did you look at that? Like a connection with any of the medical?
So
Issues.
we know that medical is more of a phase 2 plan, but we did we wanted to include a center that would have all of those needs and then a filing system for pharmaceutical needs. And then when in Perry, we also talked to a pharmacy. It was You Save It. I think it's local. And we think they would be a good partnership for this community space.
Why is that?
Because he talked about having a filing system that keeps it all separate and just seemed like a good local pharmacist.
Did you put any numbers to it?
No.
No. You said that real quick. Is there any other model that compares to what this is, what you're presenting? What did you look at to get to this point? What other communities did you look at? Retirement communities.
For inspiration, we looked at Corso Atlanta for a lot of the infrastructure and amenities and the villages. We also took some inspiration from Serenbe. If you've ever heard of that, it's where's Serenbe?
And what's the name of that? Serenbe. And
I've been there before. Been out there before.
Yeah.
Our research
it's
actually
really
took
nice.
us all around the place. We went on expeditions to Corso Atlanta with almost everybody, and we met y'all. We went to a lot of different places to gather inspiration in real life, and then come back to design our model.